Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Hi, welcome back to the podcast. This episode is going to be a live coaching call from Business Activation Academy. BAA is my signature coaching program, and it is truly my bread and butter. I teach all of my energetic marketing and sales trainings in there, and all of them are infused with mindset magic, manifestation, energetics, and flow, which I think is so important when it comes to building a business. You learn to assume this identity that you are becoming and evolving into, and you're shifting your identity into the version of yourself that is a wealthy, successful CEO. That is done through embodiment work, not just the doing, but the blending of who you are, who you're becoming, what your soul purpose is, and connecting to your intuition when making business decisions, and starting from scratch, learning how to build your business from the bottom up, all of the things to think about, your aligned clients, designing an offer, learning to market yourself successfully online, and conducting sales calls. This is all covered inside Business Activation Academy. It's a one-stop shop. I call it the Magic Business School because it's a business school for all of you magical people. And it's amazing. It's an incredible community. So you're going to get a sneak peek of one of our live coaching calls. So in this one specifically, of course, every coaching call is different, and we talk about whatever is coming up for the students. You just raise your hand, I call on you, you get coached. This week, we talked about selling on stories. Sometimes I riff for a little bit before we get into coaching, depending on some of the coaching that happens inside the Facebook group and what people are looking for. So today I did a little training on selling online, some things to look out for, keep in mind when you are selling in your stories and in your captions specifically. I'm also talking about how to drop the shoulds, all these shoulds. I should do this. I should do that. Someone told me I should do this. I feel like I need to do this. All these things that we take on as business owners. And I coach one of my students on dropping them and to create intentional thoughts, as well as coaching somebody on having an ADHD brain and taking action, and some things that can be really powerful for you there. I think this is a good call because you get to hear a little bit of diversity through my students, what they're looking for, where they are in their business. And yeah, I think it's a really good one. We also talk about creating beliefs from scratch. So talking about those, really how to, talk about and embody intentional thinking. And sometimes it feels easier said than done. So I'm coaching someone on that in this call as well. All right, without further ado, I will let you enjoy this episode. Business Activation Academy is a program that is always open. But if you are starting out as a business owner, why wait? This is the perfect place to be. If you want to be in a community with other new coaches, you want to infuse your business with flow and ease, and you want to do things in a way that isn't driven by the hustle and the doing, but the manifestation, the magic, the attracting aligned clients, building a heart-centered business from scratch, you will learn all of the mindset everything you need to know about designing your offer, attracting clients, attraction marketing on social media, how to conduct a sales call step by step, and so much more. If that's what you're looking for, Business Activation Academy is your place. It is available for you to apply. Go to tiffanychung.co/BAA. The link is also in the show notes, and you will see the application form smack dab in the middle of the sales page. I will get that application. If you are a great fit, you will be accepted and you will be a part of the academy and grow your business to 6 figures and beyond. All right, I will let you enjoy this coaching call. If you have any questions about BAA, feel free to DM me on Instagram at tiffanychung.co, and I will see you in a moment when I start this coaching call. All right.
I have a feeling, and let me know in the chat how you feel about this, how you're doing with this. Thoughts, struggles, things that are coming up for you. But I just got off a client call with one of my one-on-one clients, and another one of my one-on-one clients. We're working pretty in depth about this. Is, now that you have the belief and you're starting to rewire some of those beliefs, is like, what do you even say to your people? And what do you like? How do you say it? What's the right way to say it? And I think a lot of us get really caught up with like specific copywriting things of like, marketing and this should be done this way, and this is the way that you position it, and this is the structure in which you have to say it. I think we get really caught up in like the copywriting of it all, and I have to put a call to action, a CTA, and this and that in order for people to know. But I want to propose a different way of selling in your stories and selling in your captions that is connected to your energy. I'm still sharing a little bit of strategy, but it's nothing rigid. I think that sometimes we get really caught up in things have to sound, perfection. Like we get into this perfectionist mindset, and we want it to sound eloquent, and we want it to sound super clear because of all the things that we've been taught about copywriting and marketing, etc. But I want to offer a different perspective. Okay, so typically when I'm showing up and I'm selling on stories and through my captions, because I feel like after like two and a half-ish years of business, I've been able to do this pretty successfully. I sometimes just post on my stories a couple of times, and on my feed even less. And I've been able to have, multi 5-figure launches. And it's continuously grown over time. Like even with Divine Manifestation, which you all have access to, and you should be in the Facebook group, and all that information is in our BAA Facebook group. Even with selling that course has been pretty easy, right? Just like showing up on stories, talking about it. And so I want to talk about the mindset of it and help answer any questions around selling and stories and captions before we get into coaching. But for a moment, can we all just kind of share in the chat, like, how do you feel about showing up on social media and selling your offer? Like, do you feel like this is really easy for you? Do you feel like you have certain obstacles that stand in the way? And what are those obstacles? Okay, Candy said, I overthink it. Yeah, I used to overthink this so much too. So I know what you mean. What I'm going to teach you is going to be super simplified. Yeah, Joan said, same as Candy, overthinking. Okay, what exactly are you guys overthinking? Like Joan, Candy, what, like when you're writing it out or when you're planning it, what is your mind spinning out on? Maria said, I feel out of date with the tech. Okay, don't worry. This is going to be super simple. So you do not need to be a tech wizard in order to figure this out. I'm going to close my door really quick because I can hear the cars. I don't want that. Okay. That'll sound too salesy. People will unfollow me. Okay, yeah, I think that's like the main one that we all overthink is like, I don't want to come off too salesy, and I don't want people to have thoughts about me. Yeah, what else? What else do we think about showing up and selling? What is like the main thing that prevents us? I know for me, something that got drilled into my head from like other marketing gurus is like, if you are not 100% clear on exactly what you're saying. Like people are not going to get it and then you're not going to make the sale and blah, blah, blah. So I used to like break everything down, like to make it super clear. And I felt like, because with my ADHD brain, sometimes that would take a lot of energy. Like that would just like overly exhaust me. And sometimes I just want to throw something out there and then I wouldn't, because I'm like, oh, but I don't have time to like break it down and make it super clear and eloquent. And so I just wouldn't do anything at all. Sabine said I struggle with that too. Also, I don't want to look or sound desperate. Okay. Yeah. So this is really good. Let's talk about this and let's coach on this, because I really want you all to get to a place where like selling on stories and showing up is not just tolerable, but exciting. I want you to feel like, ooh, I get to talk about this and I get to show up and sell my offer, and it's inviting, it's magnetic, right? Because a lot of the time, if we are feeling some type of way about selling, we're thinking in our head, like while we're typing up the caption or while we're not doing any selling at all, we're like, oh my God, I just don't want to sound salesy. Oh my gosh, what are people thinking? Like that energy is going to leak into what our audience ends up picking up, right? Like it ends up leaking into our marketing and into our our energy, and our people really take that in. So the first thing I want to say is, for some reason, not for some reason, it's because we have human brains and we're human, we go to the worst case scenario, right? Our brain automatically goes to like, oh my gosh, this person's going to unfollow me. They're going to think this about me. What if they think this? Oh, what if this one person from high school sees blah, 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 right? Like we go to the worst case scenario. And what I would love for you all to do is just start writing out. And I know I've talked a lot about self-coaching. If you need a refresh on self-coaching, I have an entire lesson on it. I believe it's module 1, but correct me if I'm wrong, it's in the earlier sections, the activated self-coaching spiral, where I want you to practice and get good at self-coaching yourself. I still have to do this. I had to do this during my Divine Manifestation launch, which was just like a little mini offer, but my mind was still spinning out on things and telling me things. So what really helps me is to get clear on the exact thought, right? So, like here, one of the exact thoughts some of us are having is, I don't want to sound too salesy. And then we just kind of break that down, right? I just start poking holes in it. I literally, like a balloon, like I literally just start poking holes in it until it starts deflating. I start asking myself, like, what does salesy even mean? What's going to happen if they think that I'm salesy? Say that my audience ends up thinking that I'm salesy. What's the worst that can happen? What type of business and where do I want to be in 5 to 10 years if this is my thought? If I continue thinking this thought, what results am I going to have in my business, right? And I do it in a very like non-blamey, non-shamey way, right? This is a shame-free space. It's more of this energy of curiosity. I don't use it as a weapon against myself, because we can all use anything as a weapon against ourselves and just go down this shame spiral. It's more so like, let me get curious about this. If people think I'm salesy, what is going to happen there? Is there a reason that I would think that they think that I'm being sounding desperate or looking desperate? Like, do I feel desperate? And sometimes I'll just check myself, like, am I stepping into this feeling of like graspiness where like I feel like I quote unquote need clients or I need money to pay the bills, right? And I'll just examine that. I'll look at that and go, where is this coming from? Where is this energy coming from? And then I'll start switching it, right? I'll start switching it into like, what do I want to think about my clients? What would help me believe this about my clients, right? So something that's really big and is the first section of this training is your beliefs about your clients and about your audience. If you have the imagination, because likely most of the time, people are not telling us this. People are not directly saying this to us. It's stuff that we're creating in our own heads, which is normal. We have a human brain. That's what it does. It wants to protect us from worst case scenario, right? But if you have the imagination to think about worst case scenario, you also have the imagination. Like I just call worry misplaced imagination. You can place your imagination into what you do want to create. And if it feels too far fetched to be like, everyone wants to work with me, all of the people in my audience want to buy from me, then just go to that like next step below it, right? Or whatever is like the next available thought, which might be, I am ready to work with, I'm ready to attract clients now. Or I am so excited to work with clients that are aligned to my offer. Or I am like ready to receive more clients into my offer. I magnetically attract clients just by being me, right? Like simple thoughts that you can get on board with and start rewiring your brain. And then asking yourself, like, is this truth or is this just something that I've picked up, right? Is this a universal truth where there's no exceptions and this applies to everybody? Or is this just something that my brain has come up with to, protect myself from feeling something I don't want to feel? And that's another thing. Sometimes it's not so much that the action's really hard, right? Like posting to our stories is not that hard. The actual act of posting a post to our feed is not that hard. It's that we want to avoid a certain feeling. We typically don't want to say or launch or do certain things because we're afraid of rejection, or we're afraid of the feeling of disappointment, or we're afraid of the feeling of, it's mainly those, like discouraged, right? Oh, I thought this many people would sign up and, I didn't hear from anyone yet. And now you're afraid of like how this disappointment is going to feel in your body. That's why these concepts of who you are and about your offer and about your clients is so important, because now when you decide what your offer is about, who you are, you're rooted in your identity, your worth cannot be told to you by your results in your business. You're inherently worthy as a human being. You're inherently loved just because you are, just because you exist. And you get to attract dreamy clients into your business, then no one can tell you differently, right? A result can't tell you differently. Emotions can't tell you differently, because you've already decided who you are and you get to come back to that. Joan said, how to make things sound like a juicy invitation instead of gunning for the sale? That's a really good question. And I think that everything comes back down to your energy. I think that if you are in a place where, say, you have like quit your job and you are just like relying solely on your business to make sales, and you are finishing up with like the one-on-one clients that you have, and you know that you want to attract more, but you're also like, your energy and your mindset is like, oh my gosh, I have rent coming up, and if I do not sign this client that's coming up on a sales call, like I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills this month. So I have to make sure that they sign with me. And then you kind of get into this like graspy energy, and then you start posting from that graspy energy because your thoughts are, I need to sign a client, I need to pay the bills, right? So it really comes from this energetic place versus or it could be like, maybe it isn't even I need to pay the bills, but like I feel like my business is, not going the way I wanted it to, and I want to feel worthy, and I don't feel worthy, and I won't until I sign another client, right? Then that also comes from this place of like graspiness, like I need more clients to make me feel like I'm an actual coach, or that I'm a business owner, right? And so then we come from this energetic place. And so sometimes I recommend my clients like not to leave their nine. Every person is different. So obviously I'm speaking generally here. If you need personalized coaching on this, obviously let me know. But if it is like a situation where someone is leaving their job prematurely and their business is not creating sustained income over time, it can feel very easy to like step into that graspy energy, right? But when we come from this place of my results are not dictating my worth, and I'm so connected to my offer. Sometimes the graspiness and gutting for a sale also comes from not being completely connected to your offer. Maybe it's been something you've been offering for a while and you just don't feel aligned to it anymore, right? But you maybe don't want to admit that to yourself, or you don't really know what to do. And so you keep trying to force this offer to work, but it's not working because it's just not aligned to you anymore. That's also when you might step into like gunning for a sale energy or salesy energy, right? So when you feel like you are coming from this place of graspiness, like super attached to the result and the outcome, which we all are to a certain extent, because this is our business. We want it to succeed. We want it to thrive, right? But when it's too much to a point where it's like taking over your thoughts, then it's time to really look at, where is this not aligned? What is not aligned here? What can I do? What can I believe? What energy can I step into to create more ease and flow? Because if you're also like in that graspy energy all of the time, and you'll know, right? Over time, you'll know when you start stepping into that graspy energy. It's really easy to get to burnt out very quick, right? People will say that they feel really burnt out because they think they're doing too much. And maybe that's true, but it might also be they're doing too much that's unaligned to them. They're selling offers and running a business that's unaligned. So it's an invitation to shift things, just to look at things, to reflect things. So things are automatically a juicy invitation. To go back to Joan's question, it's automatically a juicy invitation when you're completely lit up and aligned with your offer. When you're coming from this place of detachment and not codependency. When you are thinking about the person who needs this versus talking to the person who might not ever be a good fit for this offer. Sometimes we think of the person that's like a colleague from the past, or like a high school friend or a distant relative that doesn't really understand what we're doing. And when we're selling, we think of them, and then we start writing for them. We start like defending ourselves, and then we start explaining all these things that we don't need to step into that energy. That's like convincing energy. We've all done it. I've done it, right? It's a human thing to do. All we need to do is switch back into who would think this is a juicy invitation. It's automatically a juicy invitation. When you believe it's a juicy invitation and you speak to the person who thinks it's a juicy invitation, it's like kaboom. That's all you need, right? That's like fireworks right there. And it's never because people don't want your offer, because people always need and want coaching. 100% always. Okay. People always want coaching. People are always investing in themselves. So it always comes back to your beliefs, your energy. Who are you speaking to? Who are you tailoring this towards? Joan, let me know if that helps. And if there's any other coaching you want on that, I'm happy to support you in it. Yeah, Joan said that's a good tip, right? For the person who already believes that this is a hell yes. Yeah, 100%. It's so much easier. You're already speaking to someone that's like, yeah, I'm it. Rather than like, when you think about someone and you're writing for someone that isn't, then you step into convincing energy. Then you feel like you need to convince them. But like, how much easier is it to already envision the person that's like, oh, yeah, I'm in. Why would I not join this? Why would I not be a part of this? Logically, it doesn't make any sense, right? Yeah, Candy said that makes so much sense. It'll make you feel more excited. Exactly. When you start feeling defeated, it's either because you're not feeling aligned to your offer. But if you're aligned to your offer, then it's probably because you're speaking to someone that isn't your aligned client anyway, right? We start thinking about all of the people that have made comments about our business or doesn't really understand, and then we start gearing our content towards them. And then, but 90% of the people that are following us, 99% of the people are followed because they want to hear from you and they want to grow with you, and most likely gain support from you, right? It's like the 1% that either doesn't understand or, has something to say or has thoughts about it. And we often get so caught up with that 1%. Okay. And then what really helps is I like to envision like one client. I like to envision talking to one person just because it helps my brain. If you are able to identify like a group of people, that's perfect. But I like thinking of talking to like one main person that really needs this. And maybe I've already worked with them or I'm working with them currently and they're just like a dream client of mine, which like all of my one-on-ones are and all of you are. I'll just like imagine one of your faces and it just makes me so much more excited because I know that you're picking up what I'm putting down. I know that you're committed to your growth and who you're becoming as a business owner, and it makes it so much easier to speak. And then when you're also writing your captions or writing your stories, it helps to focus on one thing at a time. I know as like an ADHD brain, I can go on like 6 million tangents, but like focusing on like one teaching, right? Or one topic, it really helps to kind of gear knowledge towards one specific thing so that your people know this is what this means. This is what I'm learning, right? Like kind of keeping it centered and focused. And then asking yourself these questions. Why do people need this now? Right. And having this come from a place of urgency, but in a really loving and compassionate way, not in a way where, we're forcing them to sign, unless like there really is like a timeline as to when they can sign up. I mean, BAA is always open. So something that I always ask myself when I'm writing copy is how are people losing out if they don't join today? Right? Like, what will they lose? Like, yeah, it'll be open in a month from now and it'll be open next year. But like, what are they losing out if they're not joining today? Right? If they're a new business owner and they want to grow their business, this is going to help fast track them. Whereas in like several months, if they join like later in the year, they could already have surpassed their goal much earlier. Right? So then I'll write from that place and really kind of get clear on that goal. So asking yourself, why do people need this now? This also kind of helps you get into this place of not like pressure necessarily, not in a like a wounded masculine sense, but like it helps light a fire under your ass to be like, okay, people need this. There's someone out there that can benefit so much from this. And before I had clients, I would come up with a situation where someone could really use my coaching and they are continuing to hit the same issues or it's taking them really long to get what they want. And I imagine the timeline just like speeding up and collapsing when they work with me and how all the ways I can help them and all the ways I'm brainstorming their obstacles and all the ways I would envision coaching them, right? I would just think of all of these ways that it would just make their lives so much easier. And then last few things for aligned selling in stories and your captions, describe it in a way that lights you up, right? It does not have to be something that's super eloquent and put together. What lights you up? What is the way that you would explain it in your own words? I think sometimes we try to get to professional, right? Like we think of, especially if we come from corporate, like things have to be written a certain way and spoken in a certain way. But what is the way you would say it in your authentic voice? Because that's really what your audience is going to connect with at the end of the day, right? That's what they want to hear, is they want to hear it from you. If you curse, then curse on your stories. If you use certain types of slang or certain ways to describe things, then use that in your stories. That's going to be really powerful, is connecting it to who you are as an authentic person. So that way they don't end up getting on calls with you and they're like, wait, who is this person? You spoke completely different on your stories. And then last two things is what I like to do is create really simple to design Instagram templates on Canva. Canva makes it really simple to do this. You can literally just drag in a graphic and just put some text over it, and you can reuse them over and over. And if you want to continue sharing that on your stories with links or on your feed, right? This is a super easy way. You can even like bullet point out what to expect in your program. Makes it really easy. And then the last thing is make sure that it's clear for people to contact you. So if you set up consults through a link in your bio, say book a free consult with me to see if coaching is for you through the link in my bio. If you just want to do it through DMs, just say, DM me for more information. We will chat there, right? Make it clear, obvious, simple for people to reach out to you and to take action. Even if it doesn't happen with that post, they will know when it's the right time, when they know they need coaching, and they'll know exactly where to go. Okay. All right. How do we feel about that? And let's open the floor for coaching. So raise your hand, raise your virtual hand, and let's start coaching. Maria, hi.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. I am calling in from Toronto today, which is exciting.
I love that. I love the background behind you.
I know. Thank you. It's been such a great change of scene for me to have like a refreshing scenery, and
good.
I just like love travel so much, but I didn't forget, but it's just so great to like stimulate that. But it's been interesting to notice as I'm like going through these things. I think I'm now at a place where it's so related to social media. So for example, I finally got like a new phone, and like it is quite new. So it's really exciting. And I really want to like, I'm working on kind of getting over some of the mind stuff that's distracting me from getting an Instagram going and things. But I think I want maybe some coaching on what it is that when I'm like, it's here where there's not the thing, and then it's like the full thing and the full vision. It's like, okay, well, if I'm here, if I'm thinking about this is A and this is B or Z, I'm not really getting started on it, or it is just like such a slow milestone process because I have all the visions, but I'm like, oh gosh, the executing, I'm almost picturing it too largely, or I'm picturing the final product, even if it's like imperfect. I'm like, oh, I'd love to make a reel. Here I have some ideas for reels, but then I'm like, okay, but like just the next couple steps. Or I start to think of the step that's not as achievable, like, oh, I'd have to sign into Instagram on this new phone, and I have to get the Apple ID, and then it's like, well, later. you know? Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to talk about that, or just hear from you, the social media person as well. Like I know that's a huge part of what you bring in your old suitcase.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you typically have like a bigger vision of the end result, right? Let's just call it that. And then you get tripped up on like maybe the more like action, like masculine tasks that you're like, oh, I just really don't want to do that. And then you kind of feel overwhelmed, and then you end up not doing anything or pushing it off. Is that what happens? Okay. So I deal with this too. I think that we all do to a certain extent, especially if you have ADHD. Like there are just certain things where I'm just like, and just even like having that mental thought of like, I have to do that already takes energy out of me. So what helps is like breaking things down into like small, like I don't have to do everything in one sitting. I hate the idea of doing things in one sitting. I never do it. I break things into like little digestible, things so that it doesn't feel big and overwhelming. Like if the only thing that I get done today is like log into Instagram and like discover the like real sound that I want to use, or like the trend I want to do, then that's it. And what helps, especially for our brains, is not necessarily finishing the task itself, because like who the fuck cares? It's the emotion that's the incentive, right? So like, how do you want to feel once it's done, or like while you're putting it together? that gets to be the motivation, right? So maybe it's like you feel excited and lit up. Like maybe the reel is of like something that you photograph that you're like super happy about, or maybe it's something completely different and it has to do with your business, right? Like I would start already thinking of and focusing on that emotion of like, ooh, I get to feel blank, blank, and blank, right? Or like I get to experience, or you can even envision like people watching the reel and how they would feel, right? Like that's going to be a much bigger motivator than like, oh, I'm going to like check this task off of like the to-do list of like things I don't want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks. And I think part of it is that it's been a while since I've like created, but I feel like I'm like this content creator on my phone, and in my brain, I'm like, I have all this stuff I want to share about me, about my business. And I'm like, I forget that I'm like, you can just play with the features, and that can be like part of your business day. It's like, oh, cool. You get to play and make content, whether you'll share it or not is not even maybe the goal to start. It's just playing.
Yeah, literally just creating.
Like, that's
like
great.
Think of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like creating like paintings, but not like showcasing them in a gallery just yet. Like you're just painting them for yourself, and you're seeing what feels right and how you want to do it and what lights you up. And then eventually you can go and put them in a gallery for people to see, but you don't have to do that right now, right? You can just figure out what works for you and the different ways that you can play around with it. And like I said earlier, the energy and the emotion of just curiosity, right? Like what would happen if I just signed into Instagram right now and I just like scrolled through a couple of like reels that I would maybe want to create, right? Like there doesn't have to be any like long-term thing attached to it. It could just be like, what if I just try this and see how it goes? And if I don't like it, I can put the phone down and go outside and do something different, and it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I did want to share a win, is that I've had like a few consults for like part of my therapy practice, which was a big deal because it's like a piece of like my business.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm working on some like belief work about where am I in my business versus where is this work for another business. But it's been really exciting. I connected with some awesome people, and I took some things I've learned from here to make my consult kind of like really fun and interesting, rather than kind of feeling like I needed to fit some idea of what a consult is.
Yeah.
So it's like, I
love
treat it like a coaching, discovery type of call. And it was really fun. And it was really cool to hear people be like, wow, your energy is so great. And me being like, oh, right. I'm the one who, I can do this for a living as I want. So I just wanted to share that.
Yay.
Things are happening.
Yes, they are. They're getting set into motion. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Who else wants to get coached? Joan, Candy, did I help to identify some of and Sabine, I know you mentioned you were struggling with some of those things. Did I help bring clarity to, you can also just unmute yourself, like we're chilling.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, like right now I feel like I feel good about starting my business Instagram, because that was a huge step for me, because I was not used to showing my face. And I have been consistently posting stories, and have been my views on my stories have been increasing. It's like the same amount of people, but like they're consistently watching like all of them, and sometimes they're really long. But then I just feel like I'm hard on myself, because then after like the week, I'm like, how many times did I even make my offer? And usually it's like once a week or something, if that, and I'm just like, but I don't know. I'm just so hard on myself, because I feel like I should be making my offer or saying it more often. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background. She's really playful right now. But
no, it's okay.
I don't want to say it if I'm not excited about, so I literally just started reading that Byron Katie book, The Work or whatever, I forget what that's called, that book. but like to work with your thoughts or whatever, because I
Yeah.
want to get in a better mindset place, or
Okay.
like I don't know, to feel better about it, you know. I don't want to be,
Yeah.
because I feel like I am establishing a relationship, so that's good, so I want to feel good about that. But I also haven't even booked any beta clients yet, and that's where I'm like starting to feel like, well, I feel like I should be doing more, you know.
Okay. So I think sometimes what happens is like we try to change our thoughts without releasing all of the like shoulds and the identity of like scarcity or all the things we should be doing, and we get so caught up in trying to change our thoughts that we haven't like I'm visualizing like we haven't cleared space for this new identity that we keep trying to step into, and we haven't like unlearned and released what's no longer serving you. So just like Spitfire, I'm gonna write this down. What are all the shoulds that you feel like you should be doing that you are hard on yourself for on a daily basis?
I should be posting more reels. I should be
Mm-hmm.
posting more stories saying my offer or talking about what I want to help my clients with. But I know that like I haven't booked any beta clients yet, so that's what's bothering me. Like mentally, that I don't mention that, but I don't want to lie either, you know? Because like
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I was working with, or like that I had already worked with one or something, so then I could like use that as like a topic in my stories, like, oh, I'm working with you know, like talking about like what, like about those calls, like coaching calls or something, even though I feel like
Yeah.
I have other stuff to share, so I feel like I should be sharing other things that I think are of value, you know, like
Right.
all of the self-development stuff that I talk on my blog. I have more than 30 blog posts, so I always
Mm-hmm.
feel like I should just be doing more.
Okay. If you haven't worked with clients yet, you don't have to lie about it. And you also don't have to bring that up, right? Like it doesn't have to
Hmm.
be something that
And I
you,
haven't, and I'm not gonna lie
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
And that's okay, right? I think the only thing that's making that a problem is your thoughts about it.
Hmm.
Like it's almost like you're creating this like shame around where you should be and what you should be talking about. And then it just kind of creates this cycle of like inaction, but even when you do take action, you feel like you should be doing more. And it
Hmm.
sounds like you're kind of caught in this loop.
Yeah,
Um,
or I'm starting to get there because I feel like I catch myself
yeah,
and then I'm like, nope. And then I start thinking of the progress that I've made and like all
yeah.
of those things, but I don't want to dive deeper into that, you know, into those negative
Mhm.
thoughts and stuff.
Okay. So ideally, when you're showing up on Instagram, when you're posting and you are selling to your audience, how do you want to be feeling?
I want to be feeling excited, like everything you
Hmm.
said earlier. I want them to be excited about it because
Yeah.
but I also feel that right now I'm assuming what they're thinking, you know, because most of my audience is people that know me from before, you know, from like my childhood or something, or college or high school or whatever. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming or thinking that, oh, they don't even know what coaching is, you know, or like, oh, I should be explaining
Mm,
more. And like just like all these shits instead of just being more excited about the outcome. And I know that I should be talking about the outcome more, you know, but it's hard because I haven't worked with anyone yet. So then I'm like, well, what if they don't even, I'm just like a mess right now because I'm like thinking of like
no, this makes
all these
sense.
things that haven't
Yeah.
happened, you know?
So, have you created concepts for your client? Do you remember that lesson?
Hmm.
The triad. Have you created intentional thoughts and concepts around your client, your community?
Yeah.
Okay. How often, or when's the last time you kind of went over and like read it and like felt it in your body and really stepped into those thoughts and beliefs?
I think that's my problem or the issue right now, because when I started BAA, I think I signed up like around April or May maybe,
Hmm.
and I filled out, like I even printed out the pages and I have like a binder or whatever. But then I
Yeah.
haven't like looked at it in like over a month, and I think maybe that's what I literally was gonna take it out today, and that was what was in my mind last night, that I was like, I need to read all of that because I know I already wrote all of those things down, you know,
Right.
and have the worksheets like filled out and everything. So I feel like that's what's going to help. I just think that right now I was getting to that place where I was like just questioning everything. And tomorrow, I guess I was going to take out that binder and read everything or whatever, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that so often we like fill out the assignment or whatnot just to kind of like finish it. And then we forget that it's like continual work. Like even for me, like 2.5 years into my business, I've had a lot of success. I still have days or starts of launches where I'm just like, oh my gosh, what if no one signs up? What if this happens? Like, what am I going to do with that? Like, we are all human and it happens. And typically those thoughts take more control over me when I don't like tell them who's boss, essentially. Like when I create intentional beliefs, like this is what I think about my clients. This is what I think about my business. This is what I think about myself, right? All of these things end up happening during the day that tell me who I am. And then I believe them because I haven't created intentional thoughts. It's like very similar. I've done the same thing, just being a mom, right? Like if I haven't, thought, like created intentional thoughts of like, certain, beliefs I want to have about myself as a mom, my daughter is going to like throw a tantrum. She's going to say something that a crazy 8-year-old says about me or to me. And I'm going to immediately think like, oh, I'm the worst mother ever. Right. Or she'll literally say that to me sometimes when she's really upset. And I'm like, oh God, I'm just like failing at motherhood. But I've created intentional thoughts like, no, I'm a patient, loving mom. Like I get to teach my daughter, how to love herself and how to navigate these situations. It's normal, right? This happens when you're a mom. And so I work on these thoughts over and over and I self-coach myself. And when I do have those thoughts of like, I'm a terrible mom, what am I doing? Like, she would be better in someone else's hands. I would come back to like, okay, why do I think this way? What do I feel? What do I want to feel? Where is this coming from? How can I like poke holes in this thought? Right? That like, I am, the best mom for her, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like really sitting and doing this work and self-coaching yourself. Like I have notebooks, like pages and pages on this, and I do it consistently. I don't do it necessarily every single day. I'm sure I could, but I don't do anything every single day. I do it a couple times a week, and it really, really helps. So I would say, get like down and dirty with your beliefs and your thoughts, like really dig in there and figure out like, where is this coming from? What is this thought? When did I pick up this thought? Is this thought like universal truth, or is it just something that my brain is telling me? And then you get to create, okay, now I'm clear on all of this. Are there any feelings I've been avoiding feeling, right? Is there any feelings that need to be processed from my body? Sometimes we just hold on to these like stuck energies and feelings. And then once you've released all of that and you've released all the shoulds, like write all your shoulds out down. And then you get to create, okay, blank slate now. Now that that's all cleared away, what do I want to create? How do I want to feel? Maybe I don't have to do more. Maybe I can throw these shoulds out the window and I could just show up the way that feels good to me. What would that look like? How would that light me up? And then just write out what that would look like for you. And then go and do that, right? That's also going to, like when you operate in should, that's like the easiest way to burn out. And there are no shoulds. There's no universal law or rule book that's like, this is the way you need to show up and run your business. And if you don't do this, you won't be successful, right? I'm sure there's content like that out there, but like, we're not subscribing to that. You are the one that's in power. And when you come from this identity of, I am a powerful coach, people want to work with me. The work I'm doing is changing lives for generations to come. My offer is desirable, right? This is incredible work I'm doing. When you come rooted in that place, you're no longer expecting the action to make you feel that way. You feel that way because of your identity. Your identity and your beliefs are rooted in those thoughts that you've created. That way you don't feel like you need to do more, because all that doing more is just trying to get you to a place of like, I'm a good coach. I know what I'm doing. I'm seeing success in my business. When you tell yourself that you're succeeding in business and you start looking for evidence of it all around you, you start attracting clients, opportunities, milestones, goals that end up proving to yourself that this is who you are, rather than like, I'm just going to do my way to that feeling. You feel it first. And then the doing ends up being less anyway, because it's just aligned action. It's not hustly action. It's like, oh, I can choose to do this. And that one action is so supercharged with your identities and your belief that you don't have to feel like you have to do more and more and more and more and more, because you're so rooted in that identity of, I'm a great fucking coach. My clients want to work with me. My clients are here now. I'm here to serve my clients. My thoughts are focused on my clients. I'm not worried about people who are never going to be my clients. I'm here to serve people. Let's go. How can I serve my community today? And you keep showing up in that place. There's no way people are not going to want to work with you. There's no way.
Yeah, because right now I do feel really grateful for the people that are watching my story. So I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful for my audience, and I know that I can give them value and have those tools, right? Or like that knowledge of value that I want to give them. But I don't want to get to that place where I am making having clients mean that much, like making it mean that much about like my worth or value or what, you know, of all of like who I am as a person or whatever. Because I know that they'll come. Like I do trust that, but I don't want to get like deeper into, you know, having that affect my identity. So, you know, like just feeling like, oh, like nothing matters. Like I know it's really drastic, but like, you know, like I don't want to get to that, you know, like until then, you know, because everything I'm doing now, I know that it does matter, and it's like you talk about it like with the universe, you know, where like I know we never know who's watching. And when the timing is right for someone, they'll sign and all of that, you know. So I'm not gonna like just stop, you know, because I know that people get what they need at the right time, you know.
Exactly. And it's, you know, I laugh because like I do it too, and I think these things too, and our brains are really dramatic, like they really are, and it's really annoying sometimes, but that's where this work is going to come in, and I promise it gets easier. Like the more you self-coach yourself, it doesn't mean that you get to a point where you're like perfect and healed and you never have to self-coach yourself again. It just means like the certain things that you've coached yourself on for so long, like they're already rooted in who you are, you know, like it just becomes second nature. And the fact that you are already aware that you don't want to attach your worth to your clients and your business and your money means that you're not going to, or when you do, you're aware of it, right? Because you're creating foundations and beliefs where you are rooting your identity in who you are now as just a worthy human being, period. That when it does start like hinting at that place, you're going to be like, oh, this is what's happening. This is what I need to do. I need to self-coach myself. I need to go get coached on it. And it's fine. I go to my coach and get coached for the same thing over and over, right? Things just happen, and then they get easier, and then they integrate, and it becomes like second nature. But what I'm seeing is a lot of like blaming yourself or shaming yourself over like what you're not doing or what you are doing or how it should be done. And I think what's really going to help is just being extremely fucking nice to yourself and extremely accepting and loving and compassionate. Just like everything that you do, everything you say, like, oh yeah, of course, that's the way I wanted to do it. That's the way it was meant to be, right? Like, oh, I want to show up in this way. This is how I'm going to do it. Oh, today I just don't feel like posting. I'm not going to get mad at myself about it. I'm going to go and enjoy a day. I'm not going to work. I don't need to make an offer right now. And I'm not going to force myself to do it because that energy is not going to be great anyway, right? And I trust that the energy is going to come when I am meant to make my next offer and someone's going to be so aligned to it. Right? It's just a matter of like loving yourself every single step of the way, and releasing over and over that shame of should, need to, have to, force myself to, push myself to, because that's like very wounded masculine culture. It's like very corporate culture. Like put your feelings aside, just do it anyway. Like don't worry about that. Like get the job done, right? It's like, no, we're not building businesses like that. We're building sustainable, ethical, self-loving, radically accepting businesses. And that comes from doing things differently. And you're in like the rewiring phase of like transitioning from that scarcity and wounded masculine into like how good could it get? How flowy could it get? How easy could it get? How joyful can this be? It's almost like your brain won't let yourself get to that point. Like it has to be more hard work, and you're just in the transition phase, and it's okay. It's okay. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna take my binder out and start doing all of the self-coaching. So yeah, thank you. This helped a lot. I feel like it helped to release.
Okay, I'm glad. And I also don't want you to like do your way through self-coaching.
Yeah,
either,
I know, right?
We can all,
like,
I've done that. I've like done my way of like wounded masculine my way through thought and energy work, which like is so stupid. But like our brains do that. Yeah. So I want you to also like be kind to yourself through that, and be compassionate through the thought work that you're doing, and not let that be like a thing that you weaponize against yourself. Like, oh, I didn't do like my thoughts today, that's why this happened. That's like, just allow yourself to be kind to yourself and take the aligned action as it feels good to you. Okay.
There's so much to what's it called? Like not unpack, because we were so conditioned, or deconditioned, whatever, to like reprogram our mind. There's like a lot to do, but
there's
I
know
a lot
it's a
to
process.
Unlearn. I know, unlearn.
Yes.
And
you're releasing, you're shedding. It's like you're a snake shedding skin. You're an onion peeling back layers to who you're meant to be in business. And of course it feels like ass. Of course it feels weird. Of course it feels like just different. But when you get to the other side and you make this your new reality, your new second nature, it's going to feel so good.
Yeah, one of the things, sorry, I know it's really long. I don't know if anybody else wants to be coached, but I've been listening to your podcast, like all of the episodes, like, I'm almost done listening to like every single episode. And I love the one where you talked about all of the laws in the universe, I feel like the law of one. Yeah, the universe laws, the law of oneness, I think, is that what it's called? The one where that one has helped me so much, because then I see like somebody else that has done it, I'm like, well, they did it, I can do it too, So I just wanted to say that episode.
Yeah, and because we live in this physical realm, we're not just spiritual entities that can just like, well, we can, but not with everything. We can't just like leap from one place to another within seconds, or else we would all be like millionaires and we would all have successful businesses. Like, we chose the human experience, and things do take a certain amount of time. Not all things. Sometimes things happen pretty quickly, but when it's like a big shift like this, it's like you are a caterpillar in the cocoon and you're about to become a butterfly, right? You're shifting from what used to be and you're stepping into what is going to be. And you're in the cocoon where you're not a caterpillar, but you're not a butterfly yet. You're like soaking in the soup. That's what my coach Simone calls it. You're in the soup, and all you need to do is marinate. You don't need to do anything. If you do something, it might like do more harm than good. If you like overdo it, you just need to like let yourself soak in the soup and let it marinate, right? Like a soup tastes much better when you let it marinate, and when you like soak up all the juices, rather than like you try to throw all these different things in it to try to make it better. You just have to like accept it for what it is and let yourself soak in the soup, and trust that everything that you're doing, all the shifts that you're making, the action you're taking, not the overaction, just like you being you and you being kind to yourself through this process is all that you need.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And keep us updated on how it goes. Okay. And yeah, I'll share a personal story before we leave. I know we're at times if you have to hop off. I did this very recently around relationships, and I didn't think that this was something that affected me as much as it did. But I had taken like previous relationships where I just felt very hurt and very betrayed, and like taken that as like universal truth, right? Like, you get together with like girlfriends and you're complaining about relationships, you're complaining about men, whatever it is. So I've created these truths, these beliefs about partnerships and partnering with somebody for so long that I didn't even stop to like, is this really true? And how am I, because I believe this, now I see evidence of it all over. And then I started poking holes in it, and I just started going, is it possible that this is not universal truth? Is it possible that there are intentional, conscious relationships and people and partners out there? And how could I make myself available to that? So I started reframing and rewiring a lot of those thoughts. I didn't realize how powerful and how much of a grip it had on me, not because it's true, but because I kept thinking it over and over, and I kept looking for evidence of it all over. So of course I saw, the proof of it. And so it just goes to show, like, our beliefs and the way that we think and looking at it and rewiring it and really taking a note, like taking mental note, is so, so powerful and transformative. So yeah. But yeah, I will let you all go and enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for being on this call. Replay will be up on Facebook soon. And yeah, as always, use the Facebook group if you need any coaching, and I will catch you all next week. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.